Today's food hacks are perfect for Thanksgiving. Hey guys, Kira here from 50 Shades of Mom, tips for all shades of a mom life. And in today's video, I am back to share some more food hacks. Now, if you are new here, once a month I share some recipes out of a cookbook that I found at the Dollar Tree. And it's by Peggy Wang, who is the inspiration for the BuzzFeed magazine. And these are all food hacks that she derived. And there's 75 of them in this book, and I vow to finish them all. So I've already mapped out all that I plan on sharing with you guys, the entire book, and what to share each month. And so all the recipes that I picked for today were specific to kind of switch up our Thanksgiving. I feel like we always cook and prepare our staples that we cook every year for Thanksgiving, but I thought it would be fun to kind of switch it up a bit. So all of these are appetizers that would be perfect for your Thanksgiving table. So this first recipe is definitely something warm and yummy that you can use as an appetizer for Thanksgiving, and it's French dip crescent rolls. And it says, man, when was the last time you had a good French dip sandwich in all its beefy, juicy, dripping glory? This is pretty much nostalgia rolled up in a crescent roll. So I knew these were going to be super, super good, and all you're going to need is some provolone cheese, some sliced roast beef, some crescent rolls, and then some horseradish, which don't be deterred by that. So we're going to start off by rolling out our crescent rolls. You're going to just need 8 triangles for this recipe. Excuse the yucky pan. I am getting new sheet pans for Christmas, but do you ever have like that favorite pair of pants that are completely worn out, or your favorite t-shirt? Well, that's how I feel about this pan. All right, so once you have your triangles all put out on your sheet pan, you're just going to put a thin smear of the horseradish. I only did it on 4 pieces because I wasn't sure if anybody else was going to like it, but it was such a thin, subtle flavor, but so good that I would still recommend it even for kids. And then you're just going to add some provolone cheese. I only did half a circle just because crescent rolls are not that big. And they do say that only use 1 piece of roast beef, but I don't know. I'm Italian. If you tell me 1, I usually do at least 3. But I didn't think there was enough room for that with the cheese as well. But I did put 2 of those thin slices. I absolutely love all of the Oscar Mayer natural cold cuts, and these roast beef slices did not disappoint. So once you are done putting all of that on, you're just going to roll them like any other crescent roll. You're going to start with your thick side and roll it down until the small side. I thought all the cheese and everything was going to ooze out, but I was pleasantly surprised at how this worked when we baked it. So you're pretty much going to follow your crescent roll instructions, which is 375 for 12 to 15 minutes. And like I said, the cheese did not ooze out at all because you only did like a half a slice, and it was so warm and gooey and delicious, and something just super simple. They're right. You don't think of a French dip anymore. Not a lot of people throw that on their menu. That's kind of an old-fashioned thing, but they were so good. The crescents were cooked perfectly when you broke them apart. All the cheese came out. You can serve it with a little bit of au jus. I just did a little bit of homemade beef broth with some seasonings and minced onion, and we use that to dunk it in. But it was super, super yummy. Now, speaking of super yummy and something specifically perfect for Thanksgiving, which is why I chose it, is cranberry sauce on your meatballs. So this says you're probably wondering how in the world this combination of foodstuffs could possibly emerge as tangy and delectable as I'm promising it will. It's just one of those incredible mysteries. And let me tell you something, you would really truly be super surprised. So you just need 1 bag of fully cooked meatballs. I did the home style instead of the Italian. I thought it would do a better comparable of flavors. And then you need some sweet chili sauce. It asked for Heinz. I only found the one from Panda Express. And then it says some jellied cranberry sauce, but I made my own. I make my own. I have a video that I can link up above. Plus I share that recipe in my new cookbook that's always linked in my website down below. But that's all you need, and some salt and pepper, like just a few simple ingredients. But I never would have thought of putting cranberry sauce on a meatball. I really just wouldn't have. And I was definitely pleasantly surprised. I mean, I put my cranberry sauce on wings and I thought that was good. And Vanessa did her own derived of like meatballs and little smokies with cranberry sauce. But this was just something so different. And so I have to say that if you want to do it a little less spicy, these did have a little tang to it. Scale back on that chili sauce, but you were supposed to put in a half a bottle of that chili sauce and then 1 can of what would be jellied cranberry sauce, which you totally can do. Like I said, I just used my own, and you put it on the stove for just a little bit, maybe like 4 or 5 minutes, just to get it all warm so the two sauces can mix together. And then you throw in those meatballs. Now they can be frozen, and if they are, let them slow cook on the stove for like 4 hours. But if you thawed them like I do, then you really only need to let them sit on low to simmer for about 2 hours. Now I did heat this back up in the microwave just because I didn't want it to be cold, because then, you know, it congeals. So I heated it back up in the microwave because, of course, Mom never sits down when everybody else does. But they suggest that you put this over egg noodles. I didn't really think that this would be something good over egg noodles. Again, I was thinking more like Thanksgiving appetizer, which is exactly what we did. I just put a big bowl of this out, and then we all used toothpicks and just used toothpicks or forks to just put a couple of them on our plates. And we used it more during a football Sunday, like as an appetizer thing. That's where my mind went. But the cranberry sauce complemented this meatball so well, and it mixed with that spice. It was really delicious. But now we're making our own Toastinos pizza rolls, you guys. And these are called a wonton pizza crisps. So this says, if you're ever considered buying a box of Toastinos pizza rolls purely for the nostalgia factor, this snack is for you. These little pockets of melty crispiness are super addictive, so consider yourself warned. So we're really just making our own pizza rolls, you guys. And so we're going to need some Italian seasoning. That's some of my homemade sauce, but you're just going to need some marinara sauce. You'll need some wonton wrappers. We need some pepperoni, and I'm using the boar's head kind, which is my absolute favorite. And then you'll just need some shredded mozzarella cheese. That is it, you guys. So I have a sheet pan here, and the recipe says you'll need 12. So this recipe calls for you to make 12 of these little pockets. Now, it's okay if when you lay them out, they're overlapping a little bit, because remember, we're going to fold them up to make it look more like a pizza roll. So now they tell you to smear a thin layer of sauce onto your wonton. Now I overfill because, again, like I said, if it calls for 1, I do 3. And this is my own homemade sauce. So there's meat in there and chunks of tomatoes. I do think this probably would have worked out a little bit better to seal better if it had more of the thinner consistency and not chunks. Now they did close, and you'll see they held together better than I thought, but it did surprise me. But once you go ahead and put all of your sauce on, you're going to sprinkle the shredded cheese, and then you're going to chop up that pepperoni. You don't really want a whole piece. It'll be hard to bite. So if you chop it up, you'll get a piece of pepperoni in every bite. And then once that's done, you're going to go ahead and seal them. So I just put a little cup of water to dab my finger in, and you're just going to use your finger to go around all the edges, and you're just going to fold it in a triangle shape and seal them the best that you can. Again, I overfilled them, so I ended up turning the camera off because it was like a struggle to get them to close. I should have done a little bit less, but it did. It held better than I thought. I thought they were all going to open and the cheese was going to go everywhere, but it didn't. I ended up wetting the tops when I was all done and sprinkling the Italian seasoning on top, and then into the oven that they went. And I think we cooked them at 475 degrees for about 8 to 10 minutes. And when they first came out, they look all stuck onto the pan, and I was like, man, I knew the cheese was going to ooze out, and they didn't stay closed, but it really was minimal what stuck to the pan. For the most part, these things stayed sealed, which really surprised me. I mean, look at the bottom. Like, they cooked absolutely perfectly, and any cheese that did ooze out, it pretty much came up with the wonton when I took it off of the tray. There was, like I said, just minimal stuckage, but for the most part, you guys, they were so good. I'm going to break it apart right now and show you guys what the inside looked like, but everybody was so impressed with them. Daryl Charles said, like, who needs pizza rolls when you have this? Especially because it was my real sauce on the inside. So you tasted like my homemade meat sauce inside of a regular pizza roll. Like it wasn't a standard pizza roll sauce. So good, you guys. And another great appetizer. How about a dip? Okay, how about we do a pizza salsa? It says going to a barbecue. This is a great, simple little dish to bring so that guests have something zesty and unexpected to put on their hot dogs and hamburgers. This salsa is like all that great Italian pizza flavor, but in a light, summery form that won't put anyone in a carb coma. So we have some diced up tomatoes right there, some garlic, some diced up pepperoni, some shredded mozzarella, some oregano, salt and pepper, and olive oil. And that's all you're going to need to make this salsa. So go ahead and put your diced tomatoes into a bowl and then add that diced up pepperoni, which I definitely think we did more than what we needed to chop as far as the recipe was concerned, and the garlic in there. And then you're going to add in a couple of tablespoons of olive oil just to give it that wet factor when you're mixing them together, and then a handful of cheese, 1 teaspoon of oregano, and then some salt and pepper. And that's it, you guys. You're going to mix it up. Now this says summery form for a barbecue. I still think this is great for an appetizer. This was great with tortilla chips. This would be great with a really nice cracker or a garlic knot, some piece of really good Italian bread, a nice baguette sliced and warm that you could scoop this in. But I still thought this would be super great. And this entire video I had in mind just some really fun and different things that you can do for Thanksgiving as an appetizer, just to kind of switch up what we would normally do. But that is it, you guys, for another food hack video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, make sure to give it a big thumbs up. I hope you guys have a super wonderful Thanksgiving. Comment down below and let me know if you try any of these appetizers. I think I'm going to do the cranberry meatballs again because I really like that. And I also think I'm going to do those Crescent French dip little roll-ups because those were super good, and I think I may even switch them around a bit. I thought about doing a leftover sandwich afterwards. Like, what about a little bit of stuffing, a little mashed potatoes, a little bit of turkey, and then you roll that up in that little crescent roll and then dunk that in cranberry sauce? Doesn't that sound good? I don't know. These food hack books always get my mind going on all the different things that I can try. And stay tuned for next Friday, where it'll be our dessert and booze hack for the month of November, and I have so many yummy, if you guys like chocolate chip cookies, this is going to be the recipe video to tune in for. So thank you guys again so much for watching. Subscribe if you are new. I love you guys all so much, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.